Welcome to day 180 of our BitClout journey and day one of our DeSo's journey.
DeSo's, it's crazy. Like, we woke up this morning to this news and it's better than we could have ever expected. I think I like the rebranding. They basically just rebranded BitClout.
Yeah, and Diamondhands, we now know who Diamondhands is. Nader Al-Naji.
Yeah, and I mean,
Diamondhands is the former founder of Basecoin, which was a stable coin that never actually made it, but it was a brilliant idea. Just due to regulations and stuff, they couldn't basically get it through because they had government issues with it. But the guy's a brilliant man, and I think it's great having him behind the whole platform.
yeah, so let's jump into what the big news is. And there's so much to kind of break down here. But I think first and foremost, you have to realize your clout is safe. What the clout coin you have, you don't have to do anything. It's just going to automatically turn into DeSo, which is the DeSo coin and it's going to be the DeSo blockchain. So they're rebranding BitClout, the BitClout blockchain, as DeSo for decentralized social media. Like I said, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to do anything. It's just automatically going to happen. Now, when they did this, it's basically going to take the BitClout out of the blockchain, but BitClout.com is still in existence, and BitClout.com's a node. It's an example as a layer 2 on the DeSo layer 1 protocol. And I think that's important to understand. DeSo is layer 1. It's the blockchain and the crypto that goes with the blockchain. Whereas BitClout.com is a layer 2, Pulse is a layer 2, every app is a layer 2. So CrossworkCloud's a layer 2. It's just two different things.
So really, BigClout is no better than GiftClout, or no better than TimesNode, or no better than ProsperClout. They're all layer 2. They're all equal value in the eyes of the blockchain.
Right. So let me just run down, I guess, everything we found out early this morning. And number one, BitClout, the BitClout blockchain is rebranded as DeSo. You can go check it out at DeSo.org. There's a whole rundown of what that means and what the future holds. There's a lot of little tidbits of information we can go over as well. Nader Al-Naji is actually Diamondhands, and he's also going to be the head of the DeSo Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that's trying to push forward decentralized social media. And they have $200 million in funding, which was the funding they got from the initial venture capitalists when BitClout launched back in between November of last year and March. So they have $200 million in that foundation. The Clout coin is now renamed the DeSo coin. So $DeSo is the symbol for now. And I'm guessing that blockchain will change that shortly, and so will SendX and whoever else is working with the coin. DeSo.org launched. You can go to DeSo.org and read about everything. BitClout is basically BitClout.com, basically the Twitter-like example that can be built as a layer 2 on the blockchain, on the DeSo blockchain. So BitClout.com is just an example of what can happen, and it's a layer 2.
A good working example that we're all using right now. It's not just like for show. It's an actual use case, and a use case that I don't think is going to end anytime soon. There's a lot of talk about BitClout.com eventually being taken off the internet and other nodes taking over. I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the near future. I think ultimately maybe it will happen, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
I don't think it's as urgent to happen either, because now we separate it. Now, I think the reason they did this is, I'm sure there's many reasons, but number one is that it was very confusing. You had the BitClout blockchain, and then you had BitClout.com, and it was hard to distinguish that the blockchain was a layer 1 and BitClout.com was a layer 2, and people would get confused. Hey, I'm at BitClout.com, but it's also a blockchain. It's also a crypto. I don't understand. So this kind of takes takes out the blockchain from the equation and makes it a separate entity, and there's a foundation built around it. And I think another reason they probably did this is because of the negative press they got initially. There's a lot of negativity.
Well, I wouldn't just say negativity, a lot of misinformation. And I think,
Right.
you want to get away from that misinformation. Like all the stuff about it not being open source, which has been fixed, that you couldn't sell the Clout coin or now the DeSo coin, that's been taken care of. You can sell on multiple exchanges. I think, you need to move on from that. And I think rebranding it as DeSo allows you to do that, because DeSo is now its new blockchain, its own blockchain, like you said, and it doesn't really need to be associated with BigClout. BigClout's, that's the old, and we're moving on with a new. BitClout.com is feeding off of the DeSo blockchain.
Yeah, and basically anybody who is on BitClout.com, you are already a part of the DeSo blockchain, because that data that's on BitClout.com is also on the blockchain. So it's functionality wise, nothing's changing really. It's just to clarify things and kind of separate layer 1 and layer 2, and to basically show the crypto world how that's happening. I think before it was confusing, and it's also going to be easier to kind of explain the technology to new people. So I think it's an awesome move. I wasn't we heard that they were going to rebrand things. Last night we heard some of that, and we didn't really expect all of this. This is like a complete rebranding, and I think it's definitely for the best. And also I hear that there's the next 2 months, it's just going to be hit after hit. We're going to be getting new features. We're going to be getting new exchanges coming on board. I think now that layer 1 is kind of separated and easier to identify, I think that's going to help with getting listed on exchanges. I think before it was a little bit confusing. That could have been some of the holdup. And I expect the new UI to come out very shortly. I think everything was waiting on this rebranding.
Yeah, and Nader has already given several interviews with CoinDesk, with what else? What other sites?
Fast Company. The big one was fastcompany.com. And I can quickly go over some of the things that
I just want to say, he's already given several interviews, and he's talked about some of the issues. There's a lot of controversies. Like, remember when it first launched, there were multiple, all the famous people on Twitter had accounts created for them on BitClout. And Nader kind of explained why he did that. And number one, it was to prevent people from name squatting, essentially taking the username of a celebrity and pretending to be them, and then earning all this clout from them. And number 2, it was to kind of build up the bank accounts, essentially, of these celebrities, to kind of entice them to come onto the platform. So, I mean, I think he did a great job of explaining his side of things. He understands that there's going to be criticisms of that, and he understands, you just have to deal with it. But he understands, like, he can see their point of view, and he just said he was coming from a good place in doing so, and that we're moving forward now. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully we can get Nader on one of these shows. I mean, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, now that he's not just hiding behind Diamondhands, I think that could be possible. I do think he made some good points, especially if you go and read the fastcompany.com article. It's a long interview. It's several pages long, but he really kind of discusses his vision and what he has planned and why he did certain things. Like Ed said, the whole celebrity thing. Some celebrities actually have $1 million or more that are locked into their coin, that if they claim their coin, they're going to get $1 million. So it's actually lucrative for celebrities. And there really wasn't a way for him to get around that, I don't think, because you would have had squatters and it would have been a total chaotic mess. But let me just go over a couple things from the Fast Company article. And I think one of the big things that I saw that really stuck out to me is that the DeSo Foundation, that now has $200 million in its treasury, they're going to look to use a lot of that money to help developers, NFT artists, and small creators. So some of that money might be going to small creators, NFT artists, and developers. And we've been calling for a developer fund for some time now. I think it's really important. So one of his final remarks, I'll just read it to you, what Nader told Fast Company. And about why he was anonymous at first. The anonymity was the right thing to start with, but I cannot tell you how much better it feels to have a normal conversation with you. And he went on to say how he looks forward to doing podcast interviews, town halls, clubhouse interviews, now that he's public and he's out there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. He said that Twitter's going to look like Craigslist pretty soon, because Twitter is centralized. There's no competition. We have competition among nodes now. So any layer 2 node is going to be competing with one another, and that's going to bring up innovation, and it's going to push people to innovate on this blockchain. Something else he said was that BitClout makes social media data a utility rather than an asset owned by a corporation. He kind of pointed to that. So like the data within the BitClout or the DeSo blockchain is basically a utility. We can all tap into it, and all it takes is running a node, and you're going to maybe pay a little bit to run a node, but you get access to that data as a utility instead of just a corporation owning that as an asset and reaping all the benefits. So that's a great way to look at things, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, this is all exciting, and we're going to see more come out as the days progress. I think this isn't the end by any means. Like you said earlier, I think that the new front end and user interface is probably going to be next, just because it kind of goes with the whole rebranding. I don't know if that's going to take place on BitClout.com, or maybe they're going to do that on DeSo.org. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I imagine it's probably on BigClout, because again, like you said, they want to keep it separated, layer 1 and layer 2. But we'll have to see for sure. And then
my guess is going to be stay on BitClout. Like you said, they want to separate. DeSo will just be used as a blockchain, and the DeSo.org, where you can kind of get access and information about the blockchain.
Yeah, and then we're going to see the referral program come out sometime soon, I imagine, as well.
I know that just this morning I've seen over $150,000 to $200,000 in DeSo buys on BitClout.com. You can tell that by looking at the green dot bot, and there's some big money coming in right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the price continue to push up here. I think there's a lot of excitement. We're excited. I didn't expect it to be this big, and I'm really excited. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we heard rumblings that Nader was going to come out and publicly announce himself last night. We thought maybe that's what the news would be today, and it was the news today, but we didn't expect this entire rebranding of the blockchain, which I think it surprised pretty much everyone except for the VCs who probably were in the know of this. So I mean, it's great news. I think every post I've seen on BigClout this morning has been positive. I think everybody's happy about it. I haven't seen a single negative comment about the move.
Yeah, I do think there's a little bit of confusion, because the one concern I've read is, hey, so is my clout worthless now? And no, if you have clout, it's going to be changed to DeSo, and you didn't lose money. You don't have to go through any process. You don't have to exchange it or anything. It's just going to be a smooth transition as far as we can tell. So don't worry about that. Everything else is just kind of more like a way to better organize things, and there's nothing from a user standpoint that you really have to do.
The one other negative, this is the only negative that I've heard today, and it was in a clubhouse room, is that all these developers who have kind of branded off the BitClout and Clout name are wondering, okay, do I need to rebrand because now it's DeSo, or will the Clout and BitClout name kind of live on? And I think that's really yet to be seen. I wouldn't go rebranding quite yet. Maybe if you can get a domain name under DeSo, or something along those lines, maybe hold on to it and see what direction this goes in. But I don't think the idea of Clout or BigClout is going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think it's a legitimate concern, but I do think that ultimately this was the right move. they couldn't have done it in the beginning because there was no there wasn't no really separation, but there were no other layer twos built on top of it. But now, like, go to the DeSo.org website, and you'll see like this is, if you're a new person coming and reading about DeSo, you're gonna be hyped. You see like $200 million invested by all these big VC firms. You see that there's all these apps and all these nodes built on top of it as layer twos. It's really exciting. And I think this is just a start. We're going to see the referrals roll out. We're going to see the new UI. We're going to see a lot of changes coming, and a lot of really positive changes. So I'm really excited. I think that we're going to hear a lot more over the next day or so, and we'll bring that to you as much as we can. But other than that, I think that we're probably, this is a good, what day? 180?
Day one. It's day one of DeSo.
Day one of DeSo, 180.
Yeah, like do we rebrand this video as our DeSo day 180, or we're gonna think about that? Maybe it can be BitClout / DeSo day 180. Does that make sense?
To do that.
Yeah, and we'll touch on one other thing. BitClout Kids, we released the number 4 card yesterday. It's Tiffany Jump, and she's jumping away from Twitter and into the BitClout pipe, which in a Super Mario Brothers like world. So check out that card. We have them ending on, what is it, tomorrow, the silver ends?
Yeah, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And the gold ends, when's that, Brian?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So check those out. We really like how this card came out. And we will talk to you tomorrow on DeSo day number 2. I guess BitClout / DeSo day number 181. All right, talk to everyone soon.